That is sound of Bill Cosby leaving the courtroom. Lindsay Davis is following this in Norristown, Pennsylvania with ABC News. Good morning, Lindsay Davis.
Good morning, McGraw. How are you?
We're doing good. So explain this to us. What's this former DA doing on the stand?
Yeah, so all day yesterday, we only heard testimony from him. He was the defense's first witness. His name is Bruce Castor. He's the former DA of Montgomery County who declined to file charges against Bill Cosby back in 2005. Now, this was after the investigation of Andrea Constant, who claimed that the comedian drugged and assaulted her back in 2004 at his home in Pennsylvania. Now, Cosby's attorneys are trying to get the criminal charges against him dropped, claiming that this former DA made a binding agreement that the comedian would never be criminally prosecuted in this case. Now, he says that he did this to prevent Cosby from citing his Fifth Amendment rights not to incriminate himself during a potential civil trial, which he said that he believed could happen. He basically said that he believed Constant's story, but she had basically had a number of inconsistencies. There were a number of things that he's saying that she had basically ruined her own chances of winning a criminal case, but he felt that she would be able to be victorious in a civil case, and he said numerous times while he was on the stand yesterday that he had hoped that as a minister of justice, while he wouldn't be able to find justice for her criminally, that she would become a millionaire in civil court.
And this was a witness called by Cosby's team?
Exactly. You know, it's interesting because he said one of the last things that he said before he was cross-examined by the prosecutor is, let us be clear, I'm not on your team. I hope they win, meaning the prosecutor wins, meaning that they would be able to go forward and have a criminal trial now against Mr. Cosby. But his testimony is basically saying, you guys can't, because I bound the county, because I wasn't speaking as Bruce Castor at that time. I was speaking as the sovereign of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and I bound you guys that you would never be able to criminally charge him in this particular case.
That doesn't hold well for Cosby, public relations-wise, and inside the courtroom. What's their strategy here?
Well, I think that they're hoping that they're going to be victorious based on, listen, what Bruce Castor, the dominoes that he set up, they did fall basically as he planned, that he wasn't going to be able to, prosecute him criminally. Andrea Constant did go on and file a civil suit. Mr. Cosby did end up giving a deposition where he answered the questions honestly. He didn't use his Fifth Amendment rights, right? Which, if he felt at that time that he would have been criminally charged, he would have pled the Fifth, right? So they ultimately did settle the case. She did go on to become a multimillionaire, we're told, as a result of the deal. And so they're basically saying, listen, we would have never done that deposition if we thought that we were going to be criminally prosecuted. So even if you decide to go ahead and not dismiss the trial, even though we were promised by the then DA that we would never be criminally prosecuted, even if you go ahead, you cannot use the deposition then against us.
Right.
So it's interesting. We'll have to see what the judge says. We're going to hear more testimony today.
Right. And this isn't the trial. This is the trial to see if there should be a trial.
Exactly. This is the hearing to see if there should be a trial. Exactly.
And this is the Temple University Athletic Department employee. When did this alleged incident happen?
Right. Well, interestingly, that was one of the things that Bruce Castor said that he was concerned about, because he said there were so many inconsistencies in her story. That first she said it happened in January of 2004 at his house. Then she changed it to, no, it was March of 2004. Another one of the problems is he said that she waited a year to report it, and that before she even reported it, she had talked to a lawyer in Philadelphia, and then she reported it to Canada authorities, and then they, pointed it back to Philadelphia. So he was saying that with the passage of time, memories would fade. There would no longer be a chance to gather forensic evidence. So just a number of concerns that he had and why he felt that this wouldn't be a success criminally.
Pretty convoluted. Lindsay Davis, ABC News correspondent, following this in Norristown, Pennsylvania. Thanks, Lindsay.
Thank you.
You got it. 7:25.